Hello everyone! Man, Miss Burke is not wearing her glasses today and it looks a bit weird in the camera. Anyways, today we are working on a decimal challenge from your packet. The instructions say, here's the challenge. Using the digits 1 through 9 exactly one time each, fill in the boxes below and make 3 decimals whose sum is as close to 1 as possible. So I'm going to show you what that picture looks like, but before we do that, remember the word sum means we are adding up the numbers, and so we want our sum to be as close to the number 1 as possible. So in your packet, it looks a little bit like this. We have to fill in these boxes with numbers to make 3 different decimals, and we are going to add up the numbers to get our sum. And we want our sum very, very, very close to 1. Keep in mind that the instructions say your answer will not be 1. So we're not looking to add up our numbers and get 1 exactly. We just want to get close to 1. So let's brainstorm a little bit. What numbers do we know that are close to 1? What decimals do we know are close to 1? So we could have two things. We could have a number that is actually bigger than 1, but is very close to 1. For example, 1 and 1,000th. Or maybe 1 and 2,000th, or something like that. On the other hand, we could have a number that is lower than 1, but very close to 1. For example, 999 thousandths. So when we're adding up our decimals, we're going to get something that looks like one of these. Now this challenge is going to take a lot of trial and error. Even Miss B had to try out a bunch of different combinations before I got an answer that would be correct. Also, there's not just one right answer to this problem. There are many, many different combinations that get you to a sum that is close to 1. So your goal is to try this out on your own. I'm going to go through an example and even a solution and also an example that's not a solution. But what I want you to do is really take some time today and try to come up with your own solution, because the one I show you is not the only one that's possible. So again, here's our problem. And the way I started was I'm just going to put in my numbers 1 to 9 randomly in these boxes and see if I get somewhere close to 1. So the way I started out was I just counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and put my numbers in that way. So here we go. Now we got to add it up and see if our sum is close to 1 at all. So again, when we are adding up decimals, we want to make sure the decimal place is on top of each other, which it already is. And we start from the right and add up the numbers that are in line. So we have 9 plus 6 plus 3. 9 plus 6 is 15, plus 3 is 18. We'll put the 8 on the bottom and we'll carry the 1. Then we have 8 plus 5 plus 2 plus 1. 8 plus 5 is 13, plus 2 is 15, plus 1 is 16. We'll put the 6 down here and carry the 1. Next we have 7 plus 4 plus 1 plus 1. 7 plus 4 is 11, plus 1 is 12, plus 1 is 13. We'll put the 3 down and carry the 1. And make sure you also bring down the decimal point. And then 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1 makes just 1. So with that combination of decimals that I created, we got 1.368, or 1 and 368 thousandths. Now you might think, hey, I at least had a 1 out front. That's pretty close to 1. But is that as close as one of these numbers is to 1? No, it's not, because these are only 1,000th away, whereas this is 368 thousandths away from 1. So I bet we can get much, much closer to 1 than this example. So let's try out another combination. So I rearranged my numbers. Remember, you can only use 1 to 9 one time, but you can put them wherever you want. So these are my new 3 numbers. And you can see I left off the boxes this time. I just didn't want to draw it because that takes some extra time, and this is just the same. So now we have to add these up and see what we get. So why don't you pause the video now and try to add it up, and then check back with me when you have the sum. Alright, so I added mine up, and I got 1.044, or 1 and 44 thousandths. So I did 9 plus 8 plus 7, and I got 24. Put the 4 down here, carry the 2. I did 3 plus 5 plus 4 plus 2 and got 14. Put the 4 down and carry the 1. 6 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 is 10. Drop the 0 and carry the 1. Bring down your decimal point. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1 is 1. So as you can see, this number is much, much closer to 1 than our number is over here. Because this one has 0 in the tenths place. This is only 44 thousandths away, whereas this one was 368 thousandths away. That's like 300 more. So as you can see, the way I arranged my numbers this time got us closer to a sum that is close to 1. And right now would be a really, really good time for you to explore this challenge by yourself. And just like I did from the first try here to the second try, just rearrange some of the numbers and try it out a bunch of different combinations, and you will get closer to our goal. I am going to give you a hint. You want your answer close to this number, 999 thousandths. So if you're able to get your number close or exactly this, that is a solution. That is what we're looking for. So why don't you go ahead and pause the video here and try out at least 3 combinations by yourself. So try it 3 more ways. And if you want to try more after that to get the answer, go ahead. If you get too frustrated, you can stop after 3 tries and then check back in for a solution. All right, are you ready for an answer? Okay, so here is just one of the many, many answers that you could have come up with. 0.179, 0.368, 0.452. And maybe if you had this number but it was on the top, that would be the same exact solution. Or this number and it was in the middle, that's the same thing. So let's add this up and see how we get our sum close to 1. So we have 9 plus 8 plus 2. That makes 19. We put the 9 at the bottom and carry the 1. 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 1. 5 plus 6 is 11. 11 plus 7 is 18. Plus 1 is 19. Drop the 9 and carry the 1. Then we have 4 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1. 4 plus 3 is 7. Plus 1 is 8. Plus 1 is 9. Drop the 9. Carry down the decimal point and add the 0 on the other side. Zeros make 0. So we can see our sum is 0.999. That is only 1,000th away from the number 1. So this is a solution. The trick when you are trying to find a solution, a different one than this one, is that we want our numbers on the end to add up to 9, or really 19 because we carried the 1 over. So 19, and then again these added up to 19, and then finally these numbers here added up to 9. And that's how you get 9, 9, and 9. So maybe you think that you can go do this with another hint. So if you're interested, go ahead and keep trying this problem now. Otherwise, you are done for today. This was an activity that both worked your adding of decimals, but also just challenge your brain in a different way, trying to figure out the puzzle. And if you are interested in extra decimal practice, not adding and subtracting, but just decimals in general, check out our Google Classroom page and an activity will be on there.